Hello and welcome to today's episode, where we're diving into a topic that might seem a bit unexpected in our fast-paced world: the power of gradual introduction. I know. In this age of instant everything, it can sound a bit counterintuitive to slow things down. But trust me, there's a real magic that happens when you take your time, especially when you're dealing with significant changes. Whether it's introducing a new pet to your home or rolling out complex systems in a big organization, a gradual approach can really be your secret weapon for success. So let's break it down. When we're talking about gradual introduction, we're really looking at two core philosophies: the phased approach and the incremental method. These aren't just abstract ideas. They're strategies that have been tested and proven in all sorts of fields. From technology to everyday life situations, like introducing a new furry friend to your household. Both aim for smooth transitions, but they do this in very different ways, each with its own unique strengths and challenges. Now, imagine you're gearing up to introduce something new, like a tech system at work or a new pet at home. How do you decide which approach to use? Let's consider some key criteria. First up is ease of implementation. If you're someone who likes to get started with minimal fuss, the phased approach is your ally. It's like stepping gently into the shallow end of a pool. On the other hand, the incremental method requires you to map out every detail before you even begin, which can feel a bit overwhelming if you're someone who values agility. But what about adaptability? This is where the incremental method really shines. It's incredibly forgiving. Picture it as a living project, breathing document that you can tweak and adjust based on real-time feedback. In our ever-changing world, this ability to pivot is crucial. The phased approach, while structured, can feel a bit like steering a massive ship. Once you're committed to a phase, changing direction can be a real headache. Scalability is another important factor. For large-scale projects, especially in tech, the phased approach is often the go-to. It allows for a structured rollout across big operations without overwhelming the system. The incremental method is great for smaller projects, but can become unwieldy as complexity grows. Let's not forget about risk management. Early detection of problems is invaluable, and the incremental method excels here. Spotting an issue early on can prevent a disaster down the line. The phased approach might not catch these issues until a whole department is affected, which can be costly to fix. And then there's resource allocation. The phased approach tends to be less demanding on resources at any given time. You focus on one phase, complete it, and move on. The incremental method, by its very nature, demands ongoing attention, which can stretch your resources if not managed carefully. So, where do these methods excel? Picture a Fortune 500 company launching a new customer relationship management system across its offices worldwide. Trying to do that incrementally could lead to chaos. The phased approach is brilliant here, allowing for a department-by-department rollout that ensures stability and minimizes downtime. Conversely, introducing a new rescue dog to your resident cat requires the flexibility and sensitivity of the incremental method. You're observing every tiny interaction, making small adjustments to ensure peace and harmony in your home. Let's quickly recap some pros and cons. The phased approach gets you off the ground faster and is ideal for large-scale projects, but it can be rigid and challenging to change once you're in motion. The incremental method is wonderfully adaptable and great for early problem detection, but it can be resource-intensive and requires detailed planning. So, how do you decide which path to take? It really boils down to your specific situation. For large-scale corporate initiatives, the phased approach is often the best fit. It's structured and efficient. But If you're dealing with something more personal and nuanced, like bringing a new pet into your life, the incremental method gives you the control and sensitivity you need to ensure a harmonious transition. In closing, remember, there's no one-size-fits-all answer here. It's about understanding your unique environment and the change you're introducing. Projects can falter not because of a bad method, but because the wrong method was applied to the wrong situation. So, take the time to assess your needs and choose the approach that aligns best with your goals. Thank you for joining me today, and I look forward to exploring more insights with you in future episodes. Until next time, take care.